Hi there, guys. Louis from Vintage Action. I hope you guys are all well. And today, guys, I have to start with sad news. Obviously, a lot of you guys probably already know that the legendary, the iconic, like Chuck Norris just passed away today. He was like 86 years old. I mean, there was news in the past few days that he was hospitalized in Hawaii. And today we had the sad news that. I mean, he passed away. The news were today, but apparently he passed away like yesterday. And even though he's not going to be among us anymore, he'll always be like a legend. An icon. And he'll never go away. He'll be always like eternal with all the movies that he gave to us through the 70s, 80s, 90s. He was an iconic, like actor, like a martial artist, like a legend, like worldwide. And it's super sad because, like, literally, guys. And I'm being 100% honest. I watched this one last week, The Cutter. Then this one was literally one of his last big starring roles. Like in 2005. After this one, he had only like The Expendables in 2012, and then The Agent Recon like 2 years ago. And he had like the zombie plane, like a cameo. But basically, after this 1 year, he had like basically the Expendables 2. This was his last big like starring role, and I rewatched this one like last weekend, but unfortunately this was like a super busy week at work, so I didn't have time to do any videos. Like I did the Crying Freeman last Saturday, and I didn't have time to review movies. I have seen a lot of movies the past weekend, and I'm going to do some reviews this weekend, and I'm going to share with you guys. And it was unfortunate because literally was saying like the entire week. I said Friday I need to review when I get home from work. I need to do the review of The Cutter, right? And unfortunately, we got this news the past few days that Chuck was hospitalized, and unfortunately he passed away. I know it's tough. I mean, especially for his family, I know it's tough because my mom, my dad, they passed away many years ago, and I know it's always like a tough situation, especially for his closest family. But obviously, Chuck, it was an icon worldwide, and a lot of people that, like me, grew up, in the 80s, in the 90s. We grew up watching Chuck Norris, like The Way of the Dragon with, Bruce Lee, and then the Missing in Action movies, the Delta Forces, the Octagon, and then the Walker, 8 seasons of the Walker Texas Ranger, right? So he gave us so many iconic like moments, and again, rest in peace, like Chuck, and you'll always be like eternal to all of us that grew up watching your movies. And basically this is a homage, what best way. The day like he passed away yesterday, and I'm going to review one of his again last big starring roles from 2005. I'm going to review The Cutter, but I had just to have this like introduction in this video. This was not planned because, like I said, if I had time, I might film this video on Thursday, yesterday, but I didn't. And unfortunately, we have this like sad news of Chuck Norris like passing away, right? And but again, guys, that's unfortunate, but that's life, and life goes on. And I bet it was the way he would like us to remember him. I mean, someone like active that gave so many to the movie community, to the martial arts community. It was a legend all over. Then that meme stuff that did through the 2000s that made him like famous worldwide. Even people that didn't know Chuck, like my nephew, like back in Portugal, is like 20, 21. He didn't grow up watching Chuck Norris movies, but who Chuck Norris is, obviously, because he was even the internet sensation, someone like known worldwide. Everyone knew Chuck, and rest in peace, Chuck. And like I said, you'll be like eternal. So your movies speak louder than words. And then the next few decades, we'll still be watching like your amazing movies from the 70s, from the 80s, and from the 90s, from the 2000s, the Walker, like TV series, all those 8 seasons, and you'll be always with us, Chuck. And yeah, guys, now let me talk about this one, The Cutter from 2005, starring a lot of familiar faces. Even though this one is not usually, you know me, I review 80s, 90s movies, but this one is a 2005 movie, New Image. That's right, New Image. They gave us so many cult classics from in the 90s, and then through the beginning of 2000s, and they continue to release like action martial art movies, a little bit like bigger budget, but still straight to video. This one was straight to video, and Chuck was already like 65 on this one. He was still in shape. The nice thing about this one, you have a lot of familiar faces from the 90s, because obviously you have Chuck Norris, you have Daniel Bernhardt, that's right, from the Bloodsport series, from Matrix, playing like the main villain on this one. You have Todd Jensen, that's right, the Todd Jensen from Cyborg Cop, from Shadow Chaser 2, from Never Say Die, from a million like New Image movies he was in. You have Marshall Teague, that's right, the legendary Marshall Teague that was in like Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. He was in Fist of Iron with Michael Wirt and Matthias Hughes. He was in so many episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger. He was in Navy SEALs 2, martial artist, a champion martial artist as well. We have Joanna Pakula, that is in Mark for Death with Steven Seagal. So this is an all-star cast, even though it's like a B movie from the mid-2000s, straight to video, New Image production. It was distributed by Sony on like a DVD, right? It was already the DVD era. This one was directed by Bill Tannen, like William Tannen. That is the same guy that directed The Hero and The Terror, that Cannon movie from the 80s. He directed this one, and even though there's a lot of people, and even online at the time it was released, I remember like watching this at the time it was released back in Portugal 20 years ago. I was just a 20-year-old like watching this one, and I thought it was like a nice movie. Obviously it's not like missing in action, it's not Delta Force, but a lot of people said it was lame and tame, it was mediocre, it was like generic, but you know, people always criticize. But if you like 80s and 90s like action movies, you have, because you have so many familiar faces, and there is some nice action in this one. You have some two nice fight scenes between Chuck and Daniel Bernhardt, one in the bus, and then we have the final fight scene as well. So it's super like fun. And again, Chuck was 65 on this one. It was still in great shape. And the two fight scenes with Bernhardt are great. Bernhardt, probably it's like you see Bernhardt in this one like probably like you haven't seen him before, because you have these like movies that made him kind of famous in the 90s. You know, the Bloodsport series, and then of course. He became kind of big because of the Matrix, like the Matrix sequel, right? He was on that one, but basically throughout the 90s, it was like the true reality, and then you have like the Bloodsport series that made him famous. But in a way, through the 2000s, in a way, Bernhardt kind of disappeared after the Bloodsport series and being on the Matrix like sequel. He was on this one and then disappeared for many years until he started like and Kill Them All with Van Damme, and recently in the John Wick saga as well. He's been in more action movies recently, but for a period in the 2000s, Bernhardt like disappeared as well. And you know, he was always the good guy. He was the main guy, the good guy. In this one, he plays the villain, and to be honest, he was like he's like you know, it's I would say is consistent in his role as like a villain. Because and he plays like a good like villain in this one. Because some people say, "Oh, he was not a great actor." To be honest, I think I disagree with that. I think he was a good actor. He had like a great English, right? Because he being from Switzerland, obviously, and even in this role, you see him like speaking German, supposedly from Austria. So you see him like speaking German, because even though he was like he also in the Librarians in 2003 as one of the agents in Matrix Reloaded. In the Librarians, he was on a supporting role. But in this, yes, in this character, he's in various states of disguise. Require like him to adopt different accents and inflections. This also isn't that elaborate criminal like empire with dozen of henchmen. So Bernhardt is basically the main guy, and he has more screen time on this one, and this obviously it asks a lot of more of him as an actor, right? Than previously. He was never challenged in the movies. He played like in the 90s, because it was those Bloodsport movies. Basically it's action. You never had the opportunity to see him like showcasing his like chopping like skills, right? His skills as an actor. But in this one, to be honest, I think one of the reasons I like this movie, it is like he excels like basically in all fronts, and is super like believable as the villain, and I think really appreciated. So and I'm glad that there was a resurgence, right? That he came back recently after 2014 with the John Wick movies, and a lot of like even smaller roles, but in big like action like Hollywood like blockbusters. It was good to see him back, because again, after the 90s, he had a few roles like The Librarians. It was great in this one, playing the villain, but then he kind of like disappear. So basically, in this movie, you have like a former cop that is like Chuck Norris. He turned into a private investigator, right? So it was like a PI takes on a case of a missing diamond cutter that leads him on an adventure. So basically, I'll tell you, when it comes to this movie, basically he's like Chuck Norris plays a private detective, and he's like specialized in missing persons. So basically he's contracted to find the cutter. So Bernie Kospel is an Auschwitz survivor, known for his like masterful like cutting, and basically Bernhardt that stole those like precious like stones in the beginning of the movie. You see that the opening. You see Bernhardt killing like in the excavation, killing like 4 or 5 people, and stealing the stones, right? But he is going to need like the help of an expert to cut those stones. So basically, he kidnapped Kospel, and obviously you're going to see like Joanna Pakula, right? She's the niece of like Kospel, that has been kidnapped by Bernhardt to cut the stones he stole in that like in the beginning of the movie in Egypt, right? And then she's going to approach like Chuck Norris, because like Chuck Norris is like a expert, specialized in those kind of situations, like getting like missing persons, right? That are kidnapped, and she's going to approach Chuck to rescue her like uncle, right? And of course, then to do that, Chuck has to go through like Daniel Bernhardt, and again, guys, there is some nice car chases. You have Rick Avery, the legendary Rick Avery, the legendary stuntman that directed like Deadly Takeover with Jeff Speakman, another new Image movie, and he was in and he worked with Jeff Speakman in most of his movies. Legendary martial artist, legendary like stunt double, stunt coordinator, and he has like a small role. There is like a nice car chase in this one, and again there is some nice. This is not the most action packed movie, but it's nice. You see Chuck Norris as a former like police officer, now he's a private detective, and then you have Todd Jensen, and you have like just to see Todd Jensen on this one, and Marshall Teague, two legendary guys that you have seen in so many B movies. And then you put Chuck Norris and you put Danielle Bernhardt. Probably to you wouldn't like if you ask like a fan if you'd like to see these four guys in a movie. Probably that will never happen. But and again, guys, this is 2005. This is not the 90s. So for them to pick up like a 65-year-old Chuck Norris that was not doing many movies at that time anymore. And again, this was his last big starring role, basically, and then he had The Expendables and these last two movies recent, right? And that was great for them too. Of course, this is new Image that makes sense why they put Todd Jensen. There. Right? And Marshall Teague as the two police officers. That's great to have those guys. And you have Joanna Pakula that was in Mark for Dead with Steven Seagal, right? And the great thing is to put like Bernhardt playing like the the bad guy on this one. And to be honest, he was great on this one. It was super believable. I think his acting was great. I wish I could have seen him doing more like villain like roles, because he was most of his movies was the nice guy. Obviously, there is some this late like big studio movies like the John Wick. He plays the bad guy. He has like a smaller role, obviously. And this last movie with I forgot the name now. It was directed by J.J. Perry. That is like Batista and Ben Kingsley, Scott Adkins, Terry Crews. Bernhardt is also on the. I have a blank now. It's a movie from last year, action movie that I just saw, and he's been in a lot of these like Lionsgate movies, right? Because like the John Wick movies, he's been in these bigger movies, but having like smaller roles. But it's nice to still see like Bernhardt, but. A nice, solid, like action B movie. Again, this was straight to video in 2005 when it was released. I think it might have been released in US in 2006, but this is a straight to video. This is a new Image movies. New Image movies, guys. It's the same new Image that gave us like Cheddar Chaser movies, Never Say Die, that gave us like the Cyborg Cop movie. So that's the same new Image, but through the 2000s. Low budget, straight to video, but that 90s like feel, like old school, like this is like watching this is like watching like a 90s movies, and you have all the your favorites from the 90s. So it's a solid movie. Obviously, you don't see Chuck like doing as much action like he did in the 80s. Obviously, he was 65 in this one. In the 80s, he was 40 something. Obviously, he's not going to be as fast, but he was still in great shape on this one. And it's a movie that I really liked because, watching Chuck growing up, watching his movies from the 80s and from the 90s. Of course, this is mid 2000s, so you still like would watch all these movies from the 2000s still with the same. You have still that feel, that nostalgia, that retro style from the 80s and the 90s, and when it comes to that, this is all like 80s and 90s. This one, guys, unfortunately, there is no Blu-ray to this one. This one is stuck on DVD. No one ever released this one on a Blu-ray. What a surprise, right? Because most of the new Image movies are stuck on DVD, and this one is no exception. This one was distributed by Sony Pictures. This one here, you guys can see, it's like the UK DVD, as you can see here, that was released in 2006. And here I have the disc inside. There's not much artwork on the disc, just the name of the movie. And as you can see here, it was like released by Sony. And you can see here new image movie, uh, new image that continued to the 2000s, new image movie, and distributed by Sony. If you guys are in the UK, you can still buy this one on eBay, anything between £5 and £10. Amazon UK, you can still find this one. There's like CX. You can buy this one. I think they're selling it for £4 to £6. So if you really like this movie, you can still get this one. It's not cheap like usually these movies would cost like £1 or £2. This one is a little bit more expensive because there is no Blu-ray. I think this one was released in the US as well. I know there is like an Italian DVD that you can get on Amazon Italy as well. So it's still kind of like easy to get, and the picture quality is good because this was this was filmed in 2005, so the digital era. So the DVD, the picture quality I'm going to show in a minute is good. It's like a widescreen 16:9, so this is not 4:3, even though it's standard definition, but it's a good quality. It's close to Blu-ray. If you have a nice like 4K player or a Blu-ray player that even upscales, this looks almost like a Blu-ray HD, full HD quality. So it's a really nice, good quality. As you can see here, and I think this one here in the UK, I'm not sure, I didn't see it, but I think this one was like previously on I saw that online. It was on Amazon US, on Prime US to rent on HD. Like a lot of some of these new image movies, even though there is no actually like a physical release Blu-ray, there is sometimes some platforms that have these movies on HD, so they do have a master, but for some reason, rights issues, they didn't release the Blu-ray yet. I think this one was on Tubi as well. It might be on Tubi as well. This one, if you guys have never seen this like Chuck Norris movies, I have here like all the Chuck classics from the 80s, from the 90s. So I had to display here all the Chuck's classics on this like sad day of him like leaving us. But again, he'll be always with us. And again, Chuck is one of my favorites. I did so many videos. I reviewed most of these like movies. I did a video like Chuck Norris Top 10. A video showing all my Chuck Norris collection. I have so many like posters and so many things related to Chuck. He was always one of my favorites, alongside Van Damme and all those guys growing up. So this is the main menu of the cutter, as you guys can see here, and this one has like subtitles in many different like. This one is like English and Hindi actually, so you have English subtitles, and input your scene selection, and let me see here, like go back, and let me put this in the beginning so guys can see the picture quality to this one. And again, the picture quality, again guys, it's quite good, quite acceptable. And again, beginning of the movie, you can see the legendary logo of the new image that you guys grew up, and you watch so many new image movies throughout like the 90s. And this one is a 2005 movie, but it's a new image movie. Let me just fast forward this one here now. So you guys can see the picture quality. Yeah, Spokane, Washington. That was movie. I think the movie was actually filmed there in Spokane, Washington. And again, the picture quality, it's okay. There are better DVDs, there are worse, but it's again, guys, this is like widescreen. It's way better than watching the movie on 4:3, like full screen. So this is widescreen. So here's one of the scenes in the beginning of the movie. Let me just fast forward so you guys can see the picture quality here. It's one of the scenes, and you can see here like Chuck. So you can see here the picture quality. As you can see, it's a good. It's not HD, obviously. You can see it's not HD, but it's close to that. So it's like really like reasonable when it comes to the picture quality, as you guys can see. And you see Chuck here. It was like 65 in this one. Let me just fast forward this one here, and you can see here like police department, and here you see Chuck. Let me show you a little bit more. And here, as you can see here, the legendary, if you guys grew up in the 90s, you know this guy, Todd Jensen, the legendary Todd Jensen, that it was in so many new image movies like The Cyborg Cop, Never Say Die, The Shadow Chaser 2. So, legendary Todd Jensen. Let me just fast forward this a little bit, show you here and here they're seated. As you can see, just next to Todd Jensen is the legendary Marshall Teague, and you can see there the legendary Marshall Teague that it was in so many episodes also of the Walker Texas Rangers. So Marshall Teague on that one. Let me just fast forward this one and see some more scenes. You can see the picture quality. You also have, I even forgot to mention that you have Aaron Norris, like Chuck Norris' brother, that directed many of his like movies, right? So in this one he plays like a Interpol like detective as well. As you can see here, like Aaron Norris, you might not even recognize him because usually he used like a beard. He directed a lot of his movies, like The Top Dog, like and a lot of yeah. You can see here like Aaron Norris as well. It's on this one. Let me just fast forward this one here. And here you can see like Bernhardt, Daniel Bernhardt, the legendary, and this here a familiar face. This guy's like, they think he's Malibu. Was like a bodybuilder. He's in a lot of like B movies, martial art B movies. I think he's like in the Mortal Kombat. He's on the Mortal Kombat sequel. As you can see here, he has like a small role. There is a fight scene between him and Chuck Norris in the apartment, and then here you can see like Bernhardt, and again the picture quality is way more than acceptable for like a DVD. So if you guys like have never seen this one, I'll definitely recommend you guys to watch this one. No, it's not my Chuck Norris like favorite. He's not missing in action. He's not McQuaid. He's not like Delta Force, but still a solid, nice movie. B movie again, guys. B movie straight to DVD in 2005, but with a great cast like Chuck Norris, Daniel Bernhardt, Todd Jensen, Marshall Teague, Joanna Pakula, the same director that directed The Hero and The Terror, another classic from the 80s with Chuck Norris, another canon movie. And this one is a new Image movie. What more can you ask? You have new Image producing this one. You have like a lot of like legendary actors from the 80s and the 90s in this like action movie. And yeah, guys, let me know what you think about The Cutter from 2005, the last big starring role from Chuck Norris, right? And let me know what you think about The Cutter, if this one was one of your favorites as well. If you guys own this DVD, I know this is like a sad day. I was never imagined to do like a video of like reviewing this one on this day. Just a big coincidence, but again, just comment on below. Your opinion is always important to me. Hit that like button if it's your first time watching my channel. Basically, I do reviews, unboxing of these cult classics from the 80s and the 90s mainly, and even though this one is a 2005 movie, it's with all the legendary actors that we grew up watching in the 80s and the 90s. It's a new image movie that it's a legendary company that gave us so many B cult classics from the 90s as well. So feel free to subscribe, to follow me on YouTube. Hit that like button, comment on below, and check just rest in peace, and you will always be with us, the fans that grew up watching your movies. And again, you are eternal. All the movies you made, all the great moments you gave us fans like me will be forever, and you'll never be forgotten. And yeah, guys, let me know what you think about the cutter, and I'll be with you guys soon. Keep strong.